Welcome back to AI Unraveled, your daily strategic briefing on the business impact of artificial intelligence. It is Friday, January 9th, 2026. If you're worried about an AI taking your job tomorrow, physics might be your best friend. A new report on the infrastructure cliff suggests that we simply don't have the watts or the wafers to run digital workers at scale, even if the code existed today. But that isn't stopping the spending. Elon Musk's xAI has burned through nearly $8 billion in 9 months. Meta is signing nuclear power deals to keep the lights on, and China's Zhipu AI has just gone public to fund a price war against American labs. Also today, Google reinvents the email inbox. Microsoft turns Copilot into a shopping mall, and we explain why memory, not just intelligence, is the next great hurdle for AI. But before we dive into the rundown, are you drowning in dense legal text? JamgaMind is the new audio intelligence platform that turns 100-page healthcare or energy mandates into 5-minute executive briefings. Whether you are navigating Bill C-27, Canada, or the CMS 0057F interoperability rule, USA, our AI agents decode the liability so you don't have to. Start your specialized audio briefing today at jamgamind.com. This podcast is created and produced by Etienne Newman, senior software engineer and passionate soccer dad from Canada. Now, let's unravel the news.
Welcome to your customized deep dive. Today we are looking at the AI sector as of January 9th, 2026, and we are cutting right through the hype.
We really are. The material we're digging into today shows this incredible split in the industry. On one hand, you have the software side moving at light speed. We're talking agents, product wars, just staggering valuations.
And on the other side, you've got the hard physical reality, the actual limits. We're talking infrastructure, energy costs, the silicon itself, things that are, quietly putting the brakes on mass adoption.
Exactly. It's a battle between code and physics. And for now, physics has the upper hand.
So our mission today is to pull out the signal you need from all that noise. We'll show you where the money is really going and what the single biggest technical hurdle is. That's the memory problem, before AI agents can go from being just a tool to something truly autonomous.
Okay, let's get into it. And we have to start with a serious reality check, something we're calling the infrastructure cliff.
This is so important. The core idea here is that AGI, or anything like it, might be delayed, not because the code isn't smart enough,
but because we literally don't have enough watts and wafers to run it. It's a powerful counter-narrative to the whole AGI is next year hype cycle.
Let's start with the energy wall, the gigawatt gap. The numbers here are, frankly, shocking.
They are. If you want to scale AI to a point where it's replacing a significant chunk of, say, white-collar labor, data centers globally would need something like 200 plus gigawatts of new power.
And just for context for everyone listening, what does that number even mean?
Well, the entire U.S. electrical grid, all of it, is about 1,200 gigawatts. So we are talking about adding a huge new fraction of that just for AI. We can't just plug that in. That capacity doesn't exist.
And this is where the timeline just falls apart. Building a new data center, that takes, what, about 2 years?
Roughly, yeah. Which is pretty fast, all things considered.
But the high-voltage transmission lines, the giant wires you need to actually power that data center, that can take up to 10 years to get approved and built.
That's the killer. That 2-year build versus a 10-year power connection, it means physics and, bureaucracy, they set the pace, not venture capital.
Right. You run into regulatory hurdles, local opposition. It just drags on for a decade.
And then there's the sheer efficiency problem. I mean, the human brain is a miracle of engineering. It runs on maybe 10 to 20 watts.
Just incredible. And an NVIDIA H100 GPU.
That peaks at 700 watts. So if you're trying to replace a human for an 8-hour shift, the continuous energy cost is just orders of magnitude too high. We don't have enough power to run billions of digital workers around the clock.
But it's not just energy. It's the hardware itself, the hardware deficit.
It's a structural shortage, and it's not even just about the main GPUs anymore. It's the specialized little components you need to build them.
Things like CoWoS. Oh.
Exactly. The advanced packaging that lets you stack the chips. And high bandwidth memory, HBM, which is the super fast memory they need. TSMC has a physical limit on how much of that stuff they can make. You can't just build a new factory floor overnight.
And that deficit leads straight to rationing, right?
It has to. All the cutting edge compute is basically being rationed out to the hyperscalers.
So Microsoft, Meta, Google.
The big players. This means that if you're a small or medium-sized business, you literally cannot buy the compute you would need to deploy digital labor at scale. It's not available.
Which creates what we're calling the economic trap. The industry is spending over $500 billion a year on AI capex.
To justify that kind of money, you need trillions in revenue coming back in. And that's just not happening. Not yet.
And it all comes down to the cost of inference.
Right. For a quick task, a burst task like write this email, it's super cost effective. But for a continuous job like manage this project for 6 months, the ongoing cost is just crazy expensive compared to the salary.
So let's put it all together. Physics is the ultimate regulator here. We have enough compute for augmentation.
Making workers, say, 20% more efficient, think copilots. That works.
But not for mass substitution. Not for at least the next decade. So for those of you planning your careers, the immediate threat of AGI is fundamentally capped by watts and wafers.
So if that's the reality, how are these huge companies justifying these insane expenditures? That means we have to follow the money. And what you see are two totally different strategies emerging.
You've got the U.S. high-burn model on one side.
And China's lean public market approach on the other.
The U.S. model is all about spending cash fast. Look at Elon Musk's xAI. The financials show they lost $1.46 billion in just the September quarter.
And burned through almost $8 billion in cash in 9 months, just gone. All of it on compute and hiring.
It's a classic high-risk, high-reward bet. They're building these AI agents under Project Macrohard with the explicit goal of powering Tesla's Optimus robots.
Right. They're betting on future physical labor replacement, and they're just ignoring the infrastructure cliff for now.
And Musk is linking his whole ecosystem together. Grok gets its data from X, and xAI is buying hundreds of millions in Tesla batteries, probably to power their own data centers and skip the line for grid upgrades.
It's a closed-loop, vertical strategy, just fueled by a mountain of cash and, total faith in his vision.
Contrast that with China. Zhipu AI just went public on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange.
After raising about $558 million, they're the first major Chinese AI company to IPO.
And the valuation difference is it's fascinating. Zhipu is valued at maybe $6 to $8 billion.
A tiny fraction of their U.S. rivals. Anthropic is reportedly at $350 billion. xAI at $230 billion. It's a different universe.
Well, it's their strategy.
It's aggressive. They're starting a global price war. Zhipu's AI assistant costs about $3 a month. They're deliberately using low cost to force Western companies to compete on price.
A playbook we saw with DeepSeek last year.
Exactly. And it's not just about being cheap. Their coding model, GLM 4.7, is topping benchmarks against closed systems like Anthropic's Sonnet 4.5. They're delivering performance for pennies on the dollar.
So you have these two clashing ideas. One is a race to the highest valuation, damn the cost.
And the other is a calculated plan to flood the market with cheap, powerful models to capture market share. It's going to be interesting to see which one wins out.
And while that's all happening, the big tech players are focused on making sure you, the user, can never leave their platform.
This brings us to the product wars. It's all about ecosystem lock-in.
And Google is being more aggressive than ever with Gemini, specifically inside Gmail.
They've rolled out AI overviews for search, so you don't need keywords anymore. You can just ask your inbox a question like, what projects did Jane say she needs my input on?
Which is pretty powerful. And there's the new AI inbox, too.
Right. It acts like a personal assistant. It pulls out important messages, makes to-do lists for you. They're even adding a Grammarly-style proofreader for subscribers. They want to make Gemini essential to your workday.
Meanwhile, Microsoft is taking a much more direct path to making money with Copilot checkout.
They're literally turning Copilot into a storefront. You can go through the entire shopping process, from finding a product to paying for it, all without leaving the chat window.
That's a huge shift.
It is. They've integrated PayPal, Shopify, Stripe. Big retailers are already on board, Urban Outfitters, Etsy. The whole point of sale is moving into the chat.
And they have the data to back it up. They said users were twice as likely to buy something through Copilot versus a normal search.
And those sessions had 53% more purchases. So the takeaway for you is clear. AI commerce is moving into chat. The assistant is the new storefront.
But all of these things, the coding assistants, the shopping agents, the email helpers, they all hit the same wall.
They do. And that wall is memory. Solving the memory problem is, I think, the real next frontier.
This is where things get really interesting from an engineering perspective. Right now, LLMs are limited by their context windows. It's like computing with old-school punch cards.
Yes, every single interaction is new. The model has to reread everything from the start. They need persistent, usable memory to go from just being a smart tool to a real agent.
There's a great historical parallel here. Before 1956, computers were sequential. Then IBM built the 305 RAMAC.
It gave computers long-term disk storage. That's what enabled multi-program operation. It was the leap that started the whole software revolution. LLMs need their own RAMAC moment.
And the brain analogy is a good way to think about it. Your immediate thoughts, that's like your CPU cache.
Right. And the current conversation, that's your RAM. That's the context window.
But your long-term memory, your childhood home, your professional skills, that's your hard drive. And the gap is huge. An LLM holds a few terabytes. A human brain holds petabytes.
And the challenge isn't just storage, it's access speed. You can't just dump vectors into a database and call it a day. The memory has to be efficient.
What do you mean by efficient?
It needs to be closer to O1, like the brain, not Ologian. To translate that, O1 means you know exactly where the book is on the shelf and you grab it instantly.
Adologian.
That's like searching a massive library index to find where the book is. It's slower. For a true agent, recall has to be instant. The reasoning needs to happen as it recalls something, not after a long search.
So we need new mechanisms, things that act more like human memory.
Exactly. Things like prefetching, consolidation, the way sleep helps us strengthen important memories and prune away junk. Access frequency should make a memory stronger. It needs to be alive.
And if they can crack that, it gives the agent two critical abilities: object permanence and working memory.
Which allows it to learn from its mistakes and actually act autonomously over time.
The therapist analogy from the source material was perfect. A good human therapist doesn't just read notes back to you.
No, they build a relationship, they remember your flaws, they learn from your past conversations, they become wiser. That's what persistent memory could do for an AI.
It could take it from just sounding smart to actually being wise.
And there's a safety angle here, too. A model with real memory, one that remembers its own mistakes, might be safer. It gains the wisdom to say, I don't know, but let me figure it out, instead of just confidently making things up.
Okay, while that foundational work continues, let's wrap with a few quick updates from the battlefield.
On the corporate side, OpenAI is still on a buying spree. They just acquired the team from Convogo, which is their 9th acquisition this year. They are vacuuming up talent.
At the same time, their legal fight with Elon Musk is moving forward. A judge just denied their motion to dismiss his lawsuit.
So that's going to trial in March, and it's going to put a huge spotlight on the early days and decisions at OpenAI.
On the safety front, xAI had to put Grok's image generation behind a paywall.
Yeah, that came after a lot of pressure from the UK, the EU, and India over some of the inappropriate images being created. It's a classic platform moderation problem.
And lastly, quick note on benchmarks. Artificial analysis just revamped its AI index to focus on complex professional tasks.
And Musk is promising a big one-shotting code upgrade for Grok code in February. So the capability race continues.
Okay, so let's synthesize this.
Yeah.
The industry is really caught between the infinite ambition of software.
And the finite hard reality of watts and wafers and power lines.
That infrastructure cliff means mass substitution is a long way off. Augmentation is the winning strategy for businesses right now.
But that work on agent memory, that's a thing that promises a real leap forward, getting us past this punch card era of AI and towards something genuinely autonomous.
We're so obsessed with giving AI reasoning by just feeding it the entire internet.
But maybe that's not the whole picture. If memory is what lets us humans learn from our mistakes, what makes us wiser?
Here's the final thought for you to take away.
Hmm.
What kind of societal impact are we going to see from the very first AI agent that can truly, genuinely remember its own failures?
That wraps up today's briefing. The signal for today is friction. We are seeing friction everywhere. Friction in the energy grid preventing mass scaling. Friction in the courts as Elon Musk takes OpenAI to trial. And friction in the user experience being removed as Microsoft lets you buy clothes directly inside a chatbot. The companies that can remove friction for users, while navigating the friction of physical reality, will be the winners of 2026. Before we go, a reminder for the leaders listening. Are you drowning in dense legal text? JamGamind is the new audio intelligence platform that turns 100-page healthcare or energy mandates into 5-minute executive briefings. Whether you are navigating Bill C-27, Canada, or the CMS 0057F interoperability rule, USA, Our AI agents decode the liability so you don't have to. Start your specialized audio briefing today at jamgamind.com. This podcast is created and produced by Etienne Newman, senior software engineer and passionate soccer dad from Canada. Please subscribe and share. Until Monday, keep unraveling the future.